G'day there guys, Marky here, and welcome back to another episode of r/relationship advice. Now if you love this kind of content, I want you to sit back, relax, chug a prawn of the Barbie, and let's get right into it. I purposefully ruined my cousin and ex's wedding, and it brought me a lot of happiness. I once looked up to my cousin. I thought he was a great guy, and we were like brothers. I was also dating a girl. I was deeply in love with her, and I planned to marry her someday. I thought my life was perfect. One day, I came home early because a colleague offered to cover my shift. I was pretty tired, so I accepted and I went home. Arriving home, I found them in my bed, having sex. Both of them were shocked, to say the least. I told them that I wanted them to be gone by the time I got back, and I left the house. They were gone by the time I did get back, but she left me a note telling me that she was sorry and to call her when I'd calmed down. I didn't call her. I text her saying that I'd gather her things and drop them off at cousin's in a few days, and that she's staying with him now, not me. I followed through with that. It took about a week to transfer everything. Both of them tried to apologize, but I didn't have anything nice to say to them, so I said nothing. I just knocked on the door and handed the bags to whoever answered before leaving. My cousin called me multiple times to try to apologize, but I refused to accept it. 3 years have passed since then. I went no contact with them. I didn't bring it up to the rest of my family or any of their friends. I'm not sure why, I just didn't. I got a call from a number that I didn't recognize, so I answered. It was my cousin. He sounded really happy and was acting like he hadn't destroyed my life. He explained that he and my ex were getting married, and he wanted me to be the best man. I was so angry that he had the utter gall to act like nothing was wrong, and I lost my temper. I yelled at him and called him names before hanging up. He sent me a text telling me the offer still stood, and if I didn't want to be his best man, then he just simply wouldn't have one. A few days passed by and I had an idea. I texted him back and apologized. I sent a paragraph of bullcrap saying I was still angry, but this could be an opportunity for the three of us to heal and move past it. He was overjoyed and said he would pay for everything and he would help me pick out a suit if I wanted, which I accepted because I sure as crap wasn't going to spend any money on this stupid wedding if I could help it. The wedding day came. I had spent the week prior writing a speech, putting all the negative feelings that had bottled up over the years into words on paper. The wedding was pretty good. I'm sure one of them has some nice, well-paying job or something, because they must have spent a decent bit of money on this wedding from how nice it was. Our entire family was there, as was a decent chunk of my ex's family. Eventually, the time for my speech came. I just remembered feeling really nervous as it built up to it, and my voice kept faltering when I was reading it out, but I didn't and still don't care. At least I got it out. I explained what these two horrible people had done to me. I called them the worst names I could think of, and I wished them the worst. Then I left. I was expecting some kind of dramatic moment from all the guests, gasps of shock, and all of that, but there was none of that. Everyone was silent. On my way home, I got a call from my mother angrily telling me that I had ruined the wedding, and both of them were so upset, and she asked me why I'd do this. I told her that they deserved it for what they'd done to me, and everything I'd said in the speech was true. She kept defending them, so I swore at her and hung up. Since then, I've gotten several calls and texts from others in mine and my ex's family, angry that I ruined the wedding. I've also received a few texts from people who were there being supportive and telling me that they were there if I needed to talk. I'm not sure if I feel better having done this, but it did bring me great catharsis when people were telling me the wedding was ruined. At least now they've felt at the very least a fraction of what they've made me feel. Just a little edit to address some common questions. As far as I'm aware, the rest of the family wasn't aware of her cheating on me. They likely knew that we were dating at some point, then we weren't. I've learned from previous stuff that I can't rely on my family for any kind of support, so I've been on low contact with them since I moved out of my parents' house, which is why I didn't mention this to anyone in my family. A lot of people are also asking for the speech transcript. I wrote it in a Google Doc and read it out from my phone. The delivery was kinda lackluster. I sounded like I was going to cry and tripped over my words, but I managed to read it all out. It isn't verbatim what I said, but it's very close, as I was reading from this as a general script. Hello everyone. I'm not very good at public speaking, so apologies in advance. It is an honor to be at this wedding, and an even greater honor to be the best man. I was shocked that I was even invited at all, since the last time that I'd spoken to the bride and groom was when I'd found them frolicking in my own bed. X was my partner at the time, you see, but I don't think she's got the memo that when you're dating someone, you don't screw their cousin in your own partner's bed. And it wasn't like cousin didn't know we were dating either. Who knows how long this slimy crayfish was screwing her behind my back? Weeks? Months? For those unaware, X and I had been dating for 2 years. I loved her with all my heart, and was actually saving up to get a proposal ring. Maybe if my ex wasn't such a ho 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 Merry Christmas, my cousin would be giving this speech instead, and I wouldn't have been struggling with mental health for 3 years. Anyway, I've heard 50% of marriages end in divorce, and I hope yours is a messy one. From the bottom of my heart, F you both. You ruined my life, and I will never forgive either of you. And now in the comments, lol, that's savage. Honestly, what did they expect you to do? Accept the fact that he stabbed that knife in your back, and basically cause you so much anguish and hurt? I'm amazed they were stupid enough to invite you. Not just invite him, ask him to be the best man? Like when I read the title and started reading, I thought the cousin was marrying some other girl. Not his ex. I'm happy you ruined their wedding, lol. I got mad reading this. OP replies, me too. I honestly don't know what they were expecting either. That I'd just forgive them because they invited me to their wedding? I still can't get over the way that he asked you to be his best man, like it was a band-aid for him. Your timing was perfect. That guy must have had absolutely zero other friends or family around his age, because even if he didn't cheat with OP's girlfriend, it's weird AF that he'd ask someone you haven't talked to in 3 years to be a best man. You, sir, deserve a drink. Hats off to you. And OP replies, I made sure to help myself to as many drinks as I could before we sat down for the speech. I think the alcohol gave me enough courage to do that in front of my entire family and hers. I'm proud of you. There is no shame in airing out the shitty actions of people who betray us. It reflects poorly only on them and not on you, and there is no need to protect them from their own shitty consequences. Well, I bet you'll never hear from the ex or the cousin again. How dare they think that you would just get over it for their comfort and pleasure? Did your mother have any idea that they cheated on you? Wear that suit with pride. I hope it was really expensive. And OP replies, I'm not sure if she knew. I would assume she didn't, as I hadn't told her, but I did say in my speech that I found the two of them in my bed together, obviously with much more graphic language. I'm not sure about the exact price of the suit. I do know that it wasn't cheap. It was around £300. I'm keeping it as a souvenir. Your cousin was a fool to think that you wouldn't take that opportunity to say your piece. How the heck did you stomach being around the pair of them during the preparations and rehearsal? And OP replies, the knowledge that all of their excitement and joy would die gave me enough energy to hold on. And now onto the update. Hey, it's been a while. A lot has happened. I haven't logged into Reddit other than to look at any messages I've gotten whenever I see the notification in my email. It has helped, and it's good to know that people still think about me all this time later after reading words on a screen. Hell, the most recent private message I got was about 4 hours ago of typing this, and the most recent notification on my post was 10 minutes ago. I haven't responded to any because I don't really know how to begin doing so. I'd feel bad just giving a short thank you, and I'm not really creative enough to come up with over 20 good responses. I do greatly appreciate the supportive words though. Some stuff has happened since the whole mess that was my cousin's wedding. My mom tried to talk to me, said she saw the post I'd made. I pushed her away for a few days before finally speaking to her. I'm struggling to find words to describe how things worked out between us. The easiest way to explain it is that we agreed to disagree on whether what I'd done was correct. I got a mix of messages from those who were present at the wedding, some supportive, some telling me off. I was struggling a lot. I've just gone back to simply functioning, like I was before the wedding, after I came down from getting my own back. I don't at all regret what I did, and I still feel satisfied that I got payback. I was making plans to take my own life about a month after the wedding. I hadn't told anyone for obvious reasons, but my mum, uncle, and cousin, the same cousin whose wedding I ruined, came to me and told me that they would pay for a private counselor since the mental health department of the NHS is under-equipped, to say the least. I went to therapy, found a counselor who was very helpful, and he taught me a lot. I got diagnosed with PTSD, caused by the discovery of the affair. He's been a big help and has encouraged me to give casual dating a try to build confidence in myself and get used to rejection as a normal part of life. I signed up to a few dating sites, although I'm avoiding Tinder like the plague. The counselor specifically suggested I stay as far away from Tinder as I possibly can. I have not been very successful in that avenue, but it's pretty much in line with what I was expecting. I've talked to people and even got a date scheduled, but she stood me up and ghosted me, which hurt. I'm doing good though, much better. I don't have suicidal thoughts very often anymore. Whenever I'm feeling especially crap, I like to open up Reddit and read your supportive messages. That's all for now. I'll probably start using this account on a more regular basis, so you may see more of me. And now in the comments, this makes me sad. Same, this isn't some great revenge in my opinion, but just sad all around. Like, this is Reddit, so I'm sure he got a bunch of hell yeahs, but it seems unhealthy as hell to bottle all of that up, pretend to go along with it for X amount of time, and then make a big F you speech at a wedding 3 to 4 years later. He had shitty family, he had a shitty ex and a shitty cousin. But I really don't see how getting up in front of a crowd of people and cussing them out is some amazing moment. If I was there, I would feel so awkward and think, wow, the couple getting married are real dicks. But also that guy giving the speech is in serious need of therapy. A healthy response would have been getting therapy right after the cheating and then cutting them out of his life. OP is from the UK. Our free healthcare was never designed to include mental health. There are services now, but they tend to be in the big cities. Often they're charity partnerships as opposed to NHS run. Getting a referral is difficult, as most GPs would rather put you on citalopram, if they take your depressive symptoms seriously at all. Once you do get referred, if you aren't actively suicidal, you will be treated as low priority. These charity services mostly try to give you a half course of CBT, literally half a course. 12 sessions are recommended, but you usually just get 6. Private therapy costs around £80 a session, if you're lucky enough to live in a big city with therapy practices. If you're in one of the many, many smaller towns, I wish you luck finding a therapist at all, never mind one as cheap as £80 a go. And if you're suffering that badly, chances are you're in a minimum wage, low contract hours job and paying out half of your wage in rent alone. How do I know all of this? Bitter experience, and I'm one of the luckier ones. Seriously, I begin to assume that the people who reflexively recommend therapy on Reddit have never actually had to get therapy. Most people who need it simply cannot. Our next post is titled, I'm 37 female, unexpectedly pregnant. My husband, 35 male, wants an abortion and to keep it quiet. I'm not comfortable with this. What should I do? So here's the full story. Please be honest, yet gentle. I'm extremely emotional right now, and I'm on the verge of panic episodes. For some background, we're a childless couple, married for 8 years. We both did not want children when we met and got married. We're both pro-choice. I was always clear that I didn't imagine abortion being right for me if I accidentally got pregnant, although I respect and really support that each person should have the right to make their own decision in this matter. Over the past 2 or so years, I've felt differently and have openly shared my feelings of wanting a child in the future. We discussed it at length. Given the fact that we married based on both not wanting kids, we decided that I will have to be happy without them, or exit the marriage. And I've continued in our marriage missing kids, but with the promise of getting a small dog to fill the void. My husband agreed that it would be nice to get a small dog to fill that need, but has since been resistant and changed his mind. We do not have a small dog. I had the IUD implanted for birth control a few years ago, which is 99.9% effective. It worked like a charm for about 8 years. 2 days ago, I noticed that the IUD had mostly slipped out of my cervix and it came all the way out. We bought an over-the-counter pregnancy test and it came back positive. I made an appointment with an OB/GYN for Monday, yesterday, and it's confirmed. I have a viable, non-ectopic pregnancy, and I'm 5 weeks and 2 to 3 days along. I actually think conception occurred on or after the 2nd of the 8th, according to my ovulation schedule, and intercourse. I had an ultrasound as well as multiple blood tests, and everything is coming back looking fine and healthy. To add to the concern, I was off for all of August and drank alcohol almost every day. The OB/GYN let me know that there is an all-or-nothing mechanism, and that if there were complications from alcohol drinking, that I would have had a miscarriage already. He thinks that it's absolutely fine, and that it should not factor into whether we proceed with the pregnancy. He really emphasized this point multiple times. Now I'm having a terrible time, and would really appreciate your advice and insight. My husband wants to keep this all a secret and abort immediately, but I'm not comfortable with that. When we spoke about our feelings, I can understand his desire to abort and not have children. He, however, does not understand mine. Instead of listening to my feelings, he is constantly trying to convince and pressure me to abort. I feel so alone and scared. He's insisting that I not tell anyone, especially not my mum or any friends for that matter. I'm very close with my parents and really just want motherly or friendly advice right now. I've recently moved, and my closest friends are about 1.5 hours away. I just feel so lonely and pressured right now. My husband has shared that he feels resentment toward me. He says that I can just fix the problem by having an abortion, and that he has bad feelings towards me about this. When I tell him that this is not something I'm comfortable with, he just tries to convince me that I should do it instead of listening. Our communication is breaking down. This is all new, so I'm sure part of it is just shock and accepting the idea. We did not speak to each other last night for the most part, and I spent time in the bedroom while he spent time playing video games and outside in the yard. I think we needed that time to think and recover. I'm sure we also both need more time for that. Each morning before leaving bed to get ready for work, as he gets up before me, he gives me a kiss in bed. That didn't happen this morning. When he forgot something and came back to the bedroom to grab it, I asked about the missing kiss, and he reluctantly gave me one. It was forced and not nice. I would hate for our lives to be torn apart. I love him and really enjoy his companionship. I don't think that he'd stay in a marriage with a child, even though when and before we got married, we clearly discussed divorce, went to couples therapy to develop a good communication base, and decided that we would not divorce unless it was absolutely vital. Abuse, cheating that can't be resolved, etc. He mentioned that he felt that I was choosing to have a baby over our marriage. Is this unfair? I can see how he can say that, and it makes sense. In the same breath, I also made it clear that if I were to accidentally get pregnant, I would not consider abortion. This isn't a surprise either. He's constantly bringing up drinking and saying that the kid will have issues. He's not willing to hear that it's going to be fine since the alcohol consumption was early in the pregnancy. Am I kidding myself believing the doctor? I need advice. Should I listen to his wishes and continue to keep this a secret? What should I do about this pregnancy? I just think that I may have trouble living with myself if I went through with an abortion. Am I being unreasonable? Is he being unreasonable? I appreciate your advice. And note, unfortunately, my insurance does not cover couple and relationship therapy. I have made an appointment to speak with a new therapist for tomorrow after work. I'm going to suggest that he do the same. And now in the comments, this is a no-win situation. He can't force you to get an abortion, and you can't force him to want this baby. Basically, you do have to choose, and if you choose him and abort, you're going to grow to hate him. If you choose the baby and divorce, you have a long, hard road ahead of you. And OP replies, "Thanks for your comment. I appreciate it. It sounds like you agree. It's a terrible situation and will end with heartbreak or ache either way. For what it's worth, I grew up in a single-parent household, and I'm a better person because of it. My dad was hardworking, honest, loving, and we always knew that we were his priority. Being a single parent is tough, but not impossible, and your potential children will learn independence because of it. You cannot force him to be a dad. He cannot force you to get an abortion. That said, you have to make a choice of which one you're willing to live without, because I doubt seriously that you can have both. And OP replies, agreed. Thanks for saying that. It's a dose of reality that I need to hear. I wish I could have both, but I also doubt it. I'll have to give which I'm willing to live without a lot of thought. Best of luck. Another word of advice, if you have the baby, he might push to have his rights dropped, and you'll be a single mother, or you'll have to take him to court constantly to get him to fulfill his financial responsibilities, and you'll be a single mother. And OP replies, thanks. My brain hasn't gone that far yet. I suppose I'll cross that bridge or learn more about it if it comes to it. Why didn't he have a vasectomy? It's your body. You don't have to do everything that he wants. He will be obligated to pay support, but not to visit and help raise the child. And OP replies, he didn't have one in case he changed his mind in the future about having kids. We both thought the IUD would keep us child-free. It's as effective as sterilization. They have almost the same failure rates. Then it sounds like he wasn't 100% sure either. This is sad. I'm sorry that you have to deal with this. And back up to the post, there is an edit. I'm blown away by your generous advice, kind words, and honesty. This truly is a wonderful community, and I appreciate each and every response. I'll continue to read any responses that come in, and will provide you with an update once something concrete comes to fruition. Thank you. And now, onto the update. I wanted to give you kind people an update that is well overdue. First though, I'd like to take a moment to thank you, or most of you, for your support and kind words. For the most part, the community came through with useful advice. I really needed help and felt extremely lonely during my original post. I thank you from the bottom of my heart. And now, onto the update. I'm 39 now, and my husband is 37. I was able to see a therapist a day or two after my original post, and had a good cry while hashing out the whole story. I told the therapist about the advice I got here. She hadn't heard of Reddit, and she agreed as well. I went through with the pregnancy. My husband had the option, obviously, to stay or leave. He decided to stay. Not only did he decide to stay, but he's the happiest he's ever been in his life. Reminder, we were a childless couple and did not plan on ever having kids. Our daughter has brought so much love into our hearts that we are both amazed. I see the world in a different way now that I have her. He loves our daughter with every bit of himself. Amazingly, my love has grown for this man. He has told me that she has opened up parts of his heart that he never knew was there. I understand what he means. The happiness that I feel is beyond words. Both my husband and I are so thankful that we had our daughter. We talk about it every month or so, and can't believe how much we would have missed out if we didn't have her. To top it all off, we've decided to have another baby. So thank you, Reddit. Your support helped me through a difficult time. I hope that those of you that took the time to comment on the original post see this update. And now in the comments, I did not see that ending coming. Very happy that it ended that way. Right? I was pretty angry for OP, reading that he didn't want her to get support from her mother or anyone else, and blamed her when he couldn't have just gotten a vasectomy. It's not her choosing the baby over him, it's him choosing to burden her with the results of not getting a vasectomy. I'm really glad that it worked out for them, even though I was not expecting that. Excellent point about the vasectomy. A smart man would have gotten one immediately following the "I want a baby but will settle for a dog" conversation. I personally started disliking the guy when he also put the kibosh on getting a dog. I'm also pleasantly surprised that Dude Bro somehow morphed into a doting father. However, it does make me wonder how much of this intensely negative response might have been due to childhood trauma. In any case, things are clearly looking up for them, and it's always good to see that. This ended happily, But please, if you do want kids, don't be in a relationship with someone that doesn't and hope they change. If you don't want kids, please don't be in a relationship with someone that does and hope they change. It probably won't end happily. It will more likely lead to resentment and the relationship breaking down. To be fair to them, when they got married, neither of them wanted kids. Anyway guys, I do hope you enjoyed that one. If you did, let me know what you thought about it down in the comments below, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye.